Hi, I'm Gavin, and welcome back to the Sound Project. So we have the pleasure of being with Lucy Kalantari here today. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. And we've been working together for quite a while on your home studio. And so it's been nice to get to know you over that time. But if you could explain a little bit to the audience about your background and kind of what you do.
Oh, sure. Well, first, thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really excited to be here. And I love sharing all the stories. So I make music for children. Mm-hmm. That is my focus. I'm so passionate about that because there are future leaders. So in different ways, I write music for Dora, the new relaunch, Dora the Explorer. Right. And I also have my own band called Lucy Kalantari and the Jazz Cats. Mm-hmm. And I produce other artists who are also making music for kids. Yeah. So everything, Joni Leeds, and I've done Uncle Jumbo and Miss Katie, and just so many wonderful artists who are just trying to make a difference in children's lives.
That's awesome. And how did you get into making children's music? Was that something you were always passionate about, or is it something that came later?
That sort of snuck up on me because it was a very, very natural fit. I just didn't know it yet. It's something I've always been involved in different ways. I watched many cartoons even as an adult, mm-hmm. and just children's stories, children's books. But it was when my son was born that I started writing songs, song a week. Mm-hmm. And it turned out that quite a few of them were very kid-friendly or like for families, very, very much around that experience of being a new mom. Yeah. And when I started sharing those songs with my mom group, with other babies the same age as my son, and the babies were digging it, the moms were loving it, and it's like, I'm like, well, what else can we do? So I recorded those songs, and it fit like a glove. It was like the happiest I have ever been making music, and
that's amazing.
I just never looked back.
That's great. And now that is, I'm sure, a completely different world than other types of music that you're producing. Like, did you have to make contacts in that industry to be able to get your name out there to do that?
Oh, yeah. That's a really great question. It's funny thinking about that now. I've been doing this now for 11 years. Mm-hmm. And, but yes, because before that, I was like angsty adult music. So it was a whole different world. It's a whole different market. Who do you send that to? Like, how do I get reviews for that first album that mm-hmm. I recorded? So actually, I did one of those, like, this was before, like, kind of a TaskRabbit sort mm-hmm. of thing. I got somebody to, go through the internet to look for kids' albums and who reviews them. Yeah. Like, so look for other albums that existed. And that way I just sort of reached out to those people who reviewed or those people who played. Mm-hmm. And so this person just sort of gathered all the names, because I was also busy being a mom. So it was wacky. And then I just started reaching out one by one. Okay. And next thing you know, that first album, Pockets Full of Joy, wound up on a bunch of lists, including one of my favorite magazines at the time, Real Simple magazine. Mm-hmm. The moms there really loved it. And it got listed as one of the best albums for children mm-hmm. that year by another, well-known blogger at that time. And it just really, nothing had ever felt quite as home as it did when I started making children's music.
That's amazing. Mm. Well, and I think I did the opposite because I play in a band, right? And I have two children that's 10 and 5. And I remember my drummer telling me when my son was born that this is going to be this boon of creativity, and you're just going to write all these songs because you're so inspired about being a father. And I actually have written 3 songs in the last 10 years. I used to write like maybe sometimes 2 or 3 a week, and then for some reason it's fallen off. But I'm glad that it was the opposite for you.
Oh, well, thanks. It's really funny. Like everything kind of weaves in our lives in different ways and at different times. It sounds like life had other plans for you and other things that were needed, but that doesn't mean it's done. I mean, we're still going.
We are revitalizing the band. We're playing more shows. We're trying to write a new album right now, so it's happening. Yeah, but yeah, it's just tough to find the pockets of time. Like I know you understand that being a mom. It's it's nice that being your full-time job, you have more ability to do that. But it's the music that you create is just so much fun. I've listened to lots of it, and also just recently saw you on the Artist Lounge with Genelec, and you and your son performing together, which was really, really cool. Your son is so talented as well.
He's amazing. Like when I was writing those songs a day, so he was only 7 weeks old when I started.
Yeah.
And a song a week. So I would always do it in front of him. So what that meant is that I would noodle on the piano or on the ukulele, and he had this little bouncy seat.
Yeah.
So I would, direct it at him, even though I'm like making it. I would flub lyrics or do whatever, but it was always like kind of experimental. And because, he's a baby, he's not going to be like, Mom.
Yeah.
Well, not yet anyway. The mom.
Yeah, that came later.
That came later.
Right.
But meant that he was constantly immersed in that environment, that musical and creative space. And so he naturally found his own way in there and wanted to use his own voice to different things. Yeah. But yes, he saw a video of a cello. And he just at age 2, and next thing you know, he's like, I want to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how sometimes people just gravitate towards certain instruments. It's like that's their choice and they're just going after it. I mean, I played a little bit of trumpet when I was younger, but guitar was always my thing. Like it's like, that's the thing I want to do. My kids both do piano lessons now, which is fun to see them enjoy music too. But I bet that's just really an exciting time for you to see your son do something that you have so much passion about, and you get to share it together.
It is really fun. I mean, getting to tour with him, especially now that he's just a little bit older, he's always done stuff with us, like with the band. Like he would just sort of show up on stage and pretend to play the ukulele, right? He would come with the ukulele and then just sort of strum. And that was that, you know. But then as time went by, he was actually doing parts. He was actually singing, actually like playing certain percussions, and then like actually playing cello, and actually like it just sort of organically grew from there. So it's really wonderful. And then this past last year, we got to tour a lot more than we had before. Went to San Diego. We played in LA. We played in Virginia. We've gone to so many random and different places. It's been quite an adventure.
I think it's great when it develops organically like that, because I'm being really cautious with my kids, even though I love that they're in music. I'm trying not to push it either. I just want it something that they find on their own. Because I would much rather them be passionate about something because they are, not because I am. Same thing with sports and all of that. You just got to support them in what they're supporting.
And that's the thing. I think the most important part about that is creating the space, creating the environment to make it supportive, but also inspiring. So like, there's like the part about having instruments around, but also seeing you practice and seeing how you dedicate your time to it. It's like it leaves an impression on our children. They see you, they want to be like you. And it's like, we're their first, as parents, we're their first heroes. We're the people that inspire them the most. And so what we do with that beginning time is really crucial. And so it sounds like you're doing it just right.
No, same to you. So we got introduced from Warren Hewitt from Produce Like a Pro. Had reached out to me and said that you were building a studio and wanted to connect the two of us. And so that's been really fun to kind of see your project evolve. Like I know we've gone back and forth a couple times where it was going to be in this space, and then maybe we're going to do something else, and then but now we're kind of back in the basement space, and it's really coming along well.
I'm so excited about it. Again, kind of going back when you were talking about how like when I thought when I was going to be as a parent that you would write a bunch of songs and all that stuff. Well, we thought like, okay, I got the space. We're going to go build it, and boom, we got flooded. And it's just like, there were just other plans for us. And it's been so interesting to see it kind of evolve with time. In the basement, maybe it should be its own space. Maybe we're back, and like, but it made us, as a family, we've had to think about this because it's part of the house and it's part of like my life, which means it's our lives all together, right? So it's like where I am physically in the house working and how that affects everybody else. And So I think just like the universe has its own plans, I think
sure.
we did land where we are supposed to.
That's great.
And it's coming along beautifully. It's been so cool to hear it too.
Sure.
The difference of like what it was like when they pulled all the walls down, they gutted everything. And then when they came in to do more sound isolation. So one of the things, one of the decisions that had to be made was just like how they were going to fill the wall. It's like, was it going to be foam? Was it going to be wool?
Yeah.
And like each one had its advantage.
Yeah.
And like we wound up with a combo of both.
Yes.
And that worked out so great so far. And we'll see once we start. We're still in work in progress. But I heard the difference as things were developing because I would go down, I would talk and take some video. So I heard my voice, how it echoed in there. So then after all that was placed, like,
that's one of the things is that you go in stages because when the walls are exposed and the insulation is there, it's very controlled. And then you put drywall up and it's just this echo chamber. So sometimes people think, are we doing this wrong? Like it's going the opposite way that I want it to. But then once the acoustical treatment gets installed, which, we've recently finished renderings for you. I love how playful and fun the space looks. I just can't wait to see it all done.
Oh, me too. I feel like as I see it coming along and seeing the renderings, it feels like a reflection of me, which is really fun. I never thought walls would be a reflection of me. But everything, the colors, I love that you add, you had very thoughtful questions about just the style, the colors, but really even the fabrics and the kind of the patterns on the fabrics. Like we're going like nitty gritty and all the different things that I have to think about. It's like a lot of decisions. Yeah. But then, once I started making these choices, I had to be in that space where it's just like, well, what is this about?
Yeah.
Am I asking myself the right questions and and kind of build from there. And all those parts where I had to make those choices, they all became just sort of clear. And then now when I look at the renderings, I'm like,
that's it. Yeah. Well, I know like Oscar's been spearheading a lot of that. And I think George is also working on the renderings too. But that is one thing that we would try to do is just make this studio unique for you and whoever our client is, because it surely would make our process just really streamlined just to do the same thing over and over again, but that'd be boring. And it's also not you know? So I'm really excited for you and have your own space just to be able to go down in the basement and do what you want. So,
yes.
Yeah. I also want to point out, I know that you probably are humble and you don't talk about it a lot, but you've won some awards in the past.
A few things.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. I'll start from some ordinary things, extraordinary. I don't know. They're all, everything to me feels like little stepping stones and little markers in life that the universe is saying you're on the right path and just keep going. Everything from songwriting awards, which has been really lovely, independent music awards, international songwriting awards, the John Lennon songwriting contest, and a couple of Grammy awards.
Just a little something.
The wonderful thing with the Grammys is like I have one that's as an artist and producer for my album All the Sounds, and then the second one is as a producer and engineer for Joni Leeds' album, and so now I am nominated for my third time, I guess, and this is for an all Spanish album for kids, nice. And it's unreal to me. It's a best children's album. It's an American category, right? And it's a Spanish album.
That's very
so
cool.
I'm just really grateful that so many people were touched by the sounds that were captured, and all of that was recorded by me. And we had a few remote sessions in different places. It was recorded by me in my what I call right now my Joy Sound Lab beta, right? Because it's like upstairs and it's like it's my acoustically treated, beautifully treated room. And with
Like
the
our
help of
first
you
video
guys.
call, that's where you were, is like in that space.
So like with cables running along on the
Mm-hmm.
in the floor, doing the drums in the spare bedroom next door, and like, but regardless of how or where it's recorded, there's, if you can capture the magic, and I feel like that's what we did. Everybody brought the best of themselves in every single part. They felt so connected to the music, and I think that's what people feel when they hear it.
Yeah.
And I can't ask for anything more. I mean, that's wonderful.
I mean, that's amazing. That's coming up soon too. It's next month, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's just a week.
yeah. Oh, that's it.
A week and a half.
Wow.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck. I hope that you win.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, that's great. What's your favorite part of just being an artist and performing? Is it performing or recording? Like what fills your cup?
It's really funny. They each feel amazing and satisfying, and like part of me in all these different ways. They fulfill different parts of me, and I love performing for children. That is just like, there's just this other worldly energy in there, but there's also, I don't want to say there's also the magic of creating, of making music, the writing process, and like, or rewriting. And like, one of the things my professor used to say is just like, one of the most important tools when you're writing music is your eraser.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You have to be ruthless, just like make it the art that you want it to want it to be. And just like, don't commit to anything until you're absolutely sure, like that's the thing. But that also means you have to explore and be willing to just try stuff.
Yeah, that's what I hear all the time. Like, I write songs, and one of the things I think that stops me from writing songs sometimes is just a fear of failure. It's just like thinking that what you write is not going to be good enough. Like I see a lot of other songwriters fall into that pit of just, and really it's just like the exercise. I love the song a week that you were doing, because it forces you, like, I'm going to write a song. If it's good or not, it's happening this week.
Yes. So. That's really funny you mentioned that, because it did exactly what I was hoping for. I did it for two reasons. One, I was just a new mom, and I wanted to make sure that I was still making music and not get lost in diaper changing fiasco. So I also wanted to practice letting go, of like, because like you said, it's a deadline. And with this particular thing I was doing, you had to show your work on video. Yeah. So like I had to perform it. You could find a lot of these on YouTube actually. And like, but yes, it made me make music, and I would edit, I would do all my edits. And then, but there's also discerning, where's that line? Where's that point where it's just like, no, it's time to let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. And nothing is a failure. Right. Unless you label it that.
True.
Because even though, one might consider it not your best song, that doesn't matter. It's like you got this wonderful experience out of it, and you're going to take that and move that to the next thing that you're about to do.
That's right.
And so, you're just taking all the steps. Yeah. And it's a wonderful process. So I love all the parts. I love recording. I love producing. I love all the different bits.
That's great. Well, and I know that you've also been experimenting with doing more in immersive formats, which is very cool. That we're working on a lot of Dolby Atmos and spatial audio type of rooms these days. But yeah, tell me more about that. I mean, I'm sure with children's music, that could be really fun.
It's been wonderful. It started with I wanted to learn more about immersive audio, so I went to AES out in New York City, and I met up with Oscar over there. Yeah. And one of my goals there was to learn a little bit more about Atmos and how that can be used for kids and families. Like, how can families benefit from this beautiful new technology, right? Because kids aren't going to be like, wow, listen to that immersive audio. I feel like, they're not, critiquing your mix or anything like that. So what do? They listen, they become part of the song, they dance, They love stories. And then, so as I was going through all these different panels, I kind of had this moment where I'm like, kids love stories. What if we do something that's like a song story? So it's still music, but it's an adventure in this music. And so they become part of that song. And so they're immersed in audio, immersed in this environment. Like when I was a kid, I used to listen to a lot of like storytelling on the radio.
Yeah.
And I love like where it would take me. And so it would let my imagination soar. And so we have that opportunity of doing that, but in sound and in music. And so when after I kind of had this moment, okay, I'm going to think about that. I'll let that ruminate a bit. A month later, I went to Spain for the Latin Grammys.
Yeah.
And because an album I had co-produced was nominated for a Latin Grammy. And so it was in Seville that year. So I'm like, I'm going to go to that.
You have to go to that. Yeah.
So it was wonderful. And there I met Roger Montejano, who's an immersive audio mixer and engineer. And we had corresponded before, but this was the first time we met in person. And I told him about my findings. We started talking a little bit more, and we just started to get more excited about this idea of like, this song story for kids and what that would sound like. That a few months later, I called him up and I said, okay, I got the idea. I got it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so just little by little, it just started coming together, and it became the last song on the Grammy nominated album.
Wow.
It's called La Luciérnaga, the song. And we also released an English version called The Firefly. And so it's very much this story of chasing your dreams. You're chasing a firefly. So there's a lot of movement in it. You're running, and it's dusk. So like it's still kind of almost nighttime, so all the animals around you are kind of going to bed. So you have this adventure, and so you're running. You're seeing, hey, here these they're getting ready for sleep. Where are the bees? Where did the bees go? So it's like kind of this wonder and magic. And in the end, it's the firefly guides them to bed. Now go dream your big dreams. And like it's been really, really wonderful to see the reaction, because I get to see when people get to hear it. Like my dad was just like, I feel like I'm flying, just like, wow.
So cool.
And so we took it. That was just the beginning. And so since then, Roger and I have worked with a few of the other artists that I've been producing. We've been just I take one song. So with them, it's not written for immersive. Right. For them, they wrote the song, and then I arrange it for immersive so that it's still doing that thing where it's storytelling and kind of getting into this beautiful environment to get them, in this state where they feel like they're part of the song.
Yeah. Well, I think it's beautiful too. Like, I haven't written children's music before, but just kind of putting myself in your shoes, like you're doing that for children who just have this pure heart, and they're not judging like adults can be in this industry, and it's like they're having fun with it still. I think that as you grow older, you get a little bit more, reserved, or you're not maybe sometimes as joyful when you hear something new. But I just think that kids, like what you see, their reaction is exactly what they're feeling. They're not trying to hide it from anybody.
Oh man, you get immediate feedback. I got to tell you. And that's right. And what's wonderful about making children's music in general is that you're constantly connected to that part of yourself. And so you get to bring that out as much as you can. One of the funny things, Roger and I would have a lot of conversations about, and as we were working through, it's just like, is this he felt like it would be too gimmicky having some movement and certain things like that. And it's just like, it's for kids.
No rules. Yeah, no rules.
It's just like they want to like make it magical, like amp it up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just lean in, which made it more fun, because even talking about that, doesn't that make you feel free?
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it's your world. You can make it as magical as you want. And
That's so cool.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah. I was talking with Paul Stewart from Genelec too. He mentioned about an event in Manhattan that you guys are doing with immersive as well.
Yeah. So while children have been enjoying the song and the whole album, in their cars and in different environments, I wanted to give them an opportunity of, having the full experience in an Atmos setup. Like, what would that be like? So we came up with this concept called Atmos Story Circle. And so the Children's Museum of Manhattan were really excited to hear about this. And so in Genelec, we're just like, this is so cool. We want to bring this for kids. And so we're going to do an installment at the museum, and it's going to be all about sound. And we're going to play La Luciérnaga, the Firefly, and some of the other tunes that we've worked on to have them, be fully immersed. Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
I'm so excited.
So I'm again, I love seeing what you're doing, and it just seems like everything that you put your mind to, like you just take it to the next level. And so when the fact that Warren introduced us, I was just really thankful that he did that, to be able to get to know you and then also worked with you.
Likewise.
Your new studio is going to be amazing, and I just can't wait to hear what comes out of it. So,
thank you.
But yeah, thanks again for taking time to join us on the podcast, and just wish you all the luck at the Grammys in a few weeks.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. This was really cool.
Thanks. So that's been another episode of the Sound Project. Thanks for being a part of it. So Lucy and I were talking about some of the tools you can use as a songwriter to break out of some kind of writing habits that you have. If you have any of those yourself that are useful for you, please comment that below, and we'll see you next week.